going?
Good, good. Look, I brought you something just to make up for all the
Welcome, fellow comic book and TV series fans, to another marvelous video. Today, we are taking another look at The Boys. The Amazon Prime series has been trending, and it is for good reason. The show is a brilliant piece of work, and we want to answer a question that has been haunting us for quite some time now. Did the Deep actually die in the comics? So, buckle up, because it's time to answer the million-dollar question. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for marvelous videos. Did the Deep die in the comics? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is the Deep in comics versus TV show? Of all the characters to come out of the Boys universe, the Deep is one of those who experiences the wildest difference in his incarnations between comic and TV show. In the comic books, the Deep is a founding member of the Seven, hailed by the masses as the King of the Seas. He is portrayed as the most mature and civilized member of the squad. But this self-proclaimed sophistication tends to make him the object of his team members' scorn and neglect. The Deep in the comics is not above becoming involved in some of the group's darker activities, despite his outwardly composed demeanor. He participates in the attempted sexual assault on Starlight with A-Train, Jack from Jupiter, and Black Noir. His survival and transformation, as seen in issue number 72, where he becomes a part of the new superhero team, True, courtesy of American Consolidated, shows how he is like a cockroach, you know, refusing to die. On the television show, the Deep is brought to life as Kevin Moskowitz, a soup who is the product of Vought International's experiments. At a young age, Kevin learns of his telepathic link with the underwater fauna, which makes him believe that he is going insane. His body develops to a level where he has gills on his torso, a thing that only further fuels his deep insecurities with a fear of rejection. As the Deep becomes one of the founding members of the Seven, he rises to fame that, under the public eye, conceals lots of his personal troubles. These insecurities have a deeply troubling way of manifesting themselves though. Like, for his first instinct on most matters about women is to sexually harass them, or, you know, humiliate them or physically assault them. A transparent reflection of his unethical and manipulating nature is seen when he first meets Starlight, with whom he psychologically manipulates into performing oral sex, under the pretense that she needs to prove she could be part of the team with him. So, the Deep's TV personality is also the end product of his interaction with the rest of the Seven, where verbal abuse and hazing by Homelander and A-Train pile up to emphasize his worthlessness. He is overtly desperate for acceptance, and it finally leads him to the Church of the Collective, where he shows a bootlicking personality and readiness to switch his views as a church member to echo that of the church leader, Alistair Adana. His devotion to the church reflects his hunger for affirmation and acceptance by the Seven, since he can do whatever Alistair says, like, you know, transferring all his bank accounts to the church and getting married against his will. However, this sycophant has some limits, as he gets disgusted with this expulsion from Alistair's office in a huff, after being informed of his reacceptance of A-Train while he had been sidelined. Throughout the series, the body dysmorphia of the Deep, more specifically regarding his gills, takes center stage. It is a narrative of coming to terms with self-disgust in some transformative ways, most notably through the drug-induced hallucination in which his gills do the actual talking, trying to tell him to embrace his higher self. The Deep's relationships with aquatic creatures are both friendly and bizarrely intimate, to the extent that I would say it also verges on sexual, showing his deep sense of loneliness and longing for contact. His interactions with sea animals often express the kinship he hasn't been able to share among people. In the comics, the Deep is essentially an ironic survival character. He's way out of his depth, both literally and figuratively, within the more obvious, powerful, and treacherous circles of the Seven. On TV, he's a tragic figure, driven to things no man should do by his insecurity and need for acceptance. So, in conclusion, both the Deep's versions present the story of a man who struggles to find his way in the world, but never does, as the world always seemingly hampers his drive towards dignity and redemption. powers and abilities of the Deep in the show versus the comics. With all the differences between the comic and TV show versions of the Deep, I wonder if his powers are different too. Well, let us take a look, shall we? In both the comic books and the TV show, the Deep has a range of superhuman abilities, but not to the same level as some of the other members of the Seven. His superhuman strength allows him to carry heavy people like Black Noir and Mr. Merfa, and punch through solid objects like an airplane window built to withstand jet streams. The Deep's durability is also impressive, and he can survive high-caliber bullets, extreme temperatures, and high-speed impacts, like being hit by an airliner. He can also fly, lifting himself and others up into the air with ease. But his presumed aquatic abilities, hinted at by his title King of the Seas, are not shown in the comics. His powers are also undermined by a lack of training and a psychological vulnerability, especially his fear of Butcher and the boys, who have killed Soups like him. The TV show version of the Deep shows more defined aquatic abilities than the comic book version. He has amphibious physiology, human lungs, and gills, so, he can breathe underwater indefinitely. He can also withstand cold temperature and see in the dark depths of the ocean. One of his most impressive abilities is aquatic telepathy. He can communicate and command sea creatures. I mean, this is used for comedic and dramatic effect, like when he tries to rally sharks and a whale against the boys. The Deep also enhances marine life, making sperm whales swim at incredible speeds. His swimming speed is also impressive, and he can move underwater faster than a human on foot. The Seventh Sole Survivor, unveiling the Deep's comic fate, a twist you will not see coming. The Boys is famous for showing a world where superheroes are more miscreant than magnificent. One such member swims against the tide of disgrace to finally claim the title of the last original member of the Seven remain afloat. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Deep, self-styled King of the Seas, who, despite his grandiose title, often finds himself gasping for air on land. The fate of the comic book is a story of irony, indignity, and a surprising dash of redemption that makes it worth exploring. First, the Deep stands as the older statesman of the Seven. He's recognized for his maturity and civility, at least according to the official lines. If the Seven were a madcap family, whose members they certainly seem to be, then the Deep would be the well-meaning but perennially ignored uncle, mystified by the behavior of his wild, power-drunk relatives. Though dignified in theory, he becomes a running gag. The maritime marvel whose noble exploits usually go embarrassingly awry. Take, for instance, his grand entrance at the Boys' Flatiron HQ, where his dramatic confrontation is delayed faster than a whoopee cushion when Butcher rudely slams the door in his face. This is not a majestic monarch of the oceans. This is a comedy of errors in a wetsuit. The real irony of the character arc for the Deep is that despite all those flaws and foibles, he just might have proved to be the last of the original members after the Washington disaster, not through any heroic last stand, but simply because of sheer luck. He decides to stay out of Homelander's reckless coup against the US government, which is a move that is not entirely noble, but at least demonstrates a rare instance of common sense amid all the lunacy. The appearance of the Deep in issue number 72 is a bizarre addition to his journey as a character. He is recast as part of a new superhero team called True, and debuts in a costume that, to put it charitably, is a sartorial shipwreck. After all, the Deep is a man of paradoxes. Noble, yet ignoble. Mature, yet mocked. Survivor, yet submerged in his mess. It is precisely this cosmic fate of his that turns out to be his portion. An entire chunk of ignominies and unexpected tests of endurance, which secures him a place in the chronicles of the Boys. Truly reformed, or just the last rat to leap onto a sinking ship, the Deep proves that sometimes, in a world of superheroes, it is the fish out of the water who survives. Marvelous verdict. And that marks the end of yet another marvelous video. The Boys is definitely an interesting show, and the characters of the show even more so. We hope our video has shed light on the Deep. So let us know in the comments what other characters should we take a look at. Are there any shows or characters that need more explaining or a closer look at? And if you like this video, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, cause it means the world to us when you help us grow. Until next time guys, have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!